Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. It is mail call time from Damned Ventures LLC, aka Damned Designs. This should be my Orthrus. I've been waiting for it. I have been waiting for it. I fell in love with Damned Designs Split series, and I'm gonna call it Split series. It's not the official name, but it is a series of spinners that are made of two halves and you screw them together, and they actually have slots that you could put trits inside. For example, the Hex ring spinner or the Cerberus that I got from Adrian. Then when I saw the Orthrus, I was like, yo, I gotta get it. Not just because it is a bar design, but because to me it looks absolutely amazing, especially with the fact that you can put trits in it. Wow. But here it is finally. I mean, it took a little while. I was on the pre-order list, but finally it's here. The wait is over and I'm gonna crack this package right open and let's see what's inside. Ooh, nice new packaging. I haven't seen this one yet. It's got a nice woven fabric and a zipper enclosure. Looks to be a bit squashed because of shipping, but that's okay. Open this guy right up. Spare bearing. Wow, it's got the word damned on the side. That's cool. That's really cool. And let's open up this one because this is what all of you want to see. You know what? I'll just pull it up from the side. Okay, this is much bigger than I expected, but it's a very, very welcome size. Whoa. This looks awesome. It's got the Damned Designs logo here as well. This is etched in. You guys can see it's laser etched. And I opted for the machine finish. There were two finishes that I could choose from, a black finish or a machine finish, but you guys know I am a sucker for machine finish. So here it is. And here for size comparison is a stubby. But let me just put this packaging aside. Let's get all this plastic packaging out of the way. And there we go. You guys can see it is much taller than a stubby. And wow. Way thicker than a stubby as well. But it's cool that it has the XL gyre buttons and two nice big chunky screws that I can flame if I want to, but we'll see how that goes. But yes, stubby aside, let us undo the buttons and let's check out the bearing in there. Looks like a hybrid ceramic bearing. You guys can see those ceramic ball bearings in there. Nice, very, very nice. And let's look at the whole machining of this thing. Now it's got a semi-brushed finish. You can see some brushing going on here in a vertical direction. And on the side, it is machine finished. So there's some kind of a, I don't know, is that a discrepancy? I don't know, just maybe it was meant to be, you know, like smoothing out the edges. But you can see some of the brushing on the chamfering as well. Overall, the brushing isn't very noticeable unless you stare at it. But, you know, on the outside here, it does look a little bit off because everything's so shiny from the machine finish, and then you'll find a little bit of a matte spot because of the brushing. But I must say that the tolerances are really, really good. Look at that. Look at how perfect these two edges just join together. It's almost like as if it's seamless. Of course, visibly we can see the line. But on every single edge, it is... Wow, guys. This is some good tolerances going on. Look at that. Wow. I don't even feel anything. This is cool. Very, very well done, Adrian. Good job. Then we have this detail on the inside that I really like. So it's got a recessed area that we can color in dark if we want to. Then it would look like two chevrons. So what's next, guys, is that I'm going to give it a proper first spin because I got too ahead of myself just now and I got too excited. I just spun it by instinct. But here we go. Very nice. Very, very nice. That is smooth. That is smooth. I am thoroughly surprised. Okay, cool. Forward flicks are nice on the first impressions because I actually find my finger resting in here to start the spin. See? It's just natural. I'll stop it and I'll pull it back and my finger just sits itself in there. Very nice. I can pull it back. Oh, see? It just slips in there. That's nice. Okay, pulls of course is going to be good. I mean, you see a long solid edge here and you see a nice chamfering there. It's going to be comfortable, not just for one finger but for two fingers as well. That's nice. We could also start a pull from here. Oh, that's a nice spot too. Dang, this is good. And then push forwards, pull backs from here in the middle. Yeah, not a problem. Oh, this is pretty darn good. Ooh, I like it. So you know what's next, guys? This is next. Got a whole bunch of trits from Mixed Glow. Ignore the yellow trits because they are basically taken out from another spinner, but I got 4 white trits. These are, if I'm not wrong, 3mm by 25mm. Yep, there we go. 2.5 centimeters is 25mm, so these are 3 by 25mm, not 3 by 22.5. Don't get the wrong size, because the hex takes 3 by 22.5mm, the Orthrus takes 3 by 25. Don't get that wrong, okay? Now we gotta just undo these buttons again, and then we will grab a screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and just undo these screws. One screw out, another screw out, put my screwdriver on the side, and we are going to split this apart. And that is also how the bearing is held in place. Nice, another one that says damned here, but this is a hybrid ceramic. And the other bearing in here, let me just take this out, should be a stainless steel bearing. Let's just double check. Yep, this is a stainless steel bearing. You can see from the color of the ball bearing itself. So those of you who want a different resonance or a different spin feel, just swap out the bearings. It's that simple. So we just put the bearing in place. And the trits, let me see if they sit snugly. If not, I'll have to get some foam. Yep, you can see that the trits kind of move around a little bit. And that can be easily rectified with a couple of methods using blue tack. You could use a small piece of paper, some tissue paper, or you could use a little bit of foam. And I just happen to have some spare foam lying around. I'm gonna cut out bits of the foam and stuff it in there. Here's the foam that I use, and this is just some spare foam that I got. You know, when you buy stuff online, sometimes they pack things with a foam, and this is the packing kind of foam. It's a very soft, spongy type of foam. As you can see, I've used some already. That's for the Cerberus, and that's for the hex when I installed the trits in there. But we'll just cut a small piece, just like that, and this is more than enough to suffice. Just like that. Then we're gonna cut it to even smaller pieces. And if you are really OCD and if you really want a perfect exact weight, then you're gonna have to cut it into the exact same sizes. You're gonna cut 8 pieces or 4 pieces depending on how and where you want to put these foam pieces. Now for me, I'm gonna cut 4. I'm gonna put them around the bearing, just on the inside there. I am intending to cut some relatively same sized pieces, so I've roughly got a square right now. There we go, 4 small pieces, and this is how we do it. All 4 trits into the respective trit slots. Then you just squeeze it a little bit and stuff it into the corner. And then you want to use your fingernail and kind of work the foam in. And when you're done, it should look something like that. So you see the foam is sitting there, not too much overflowing out, overflowing. And then you're going to repeat the same thing for every slot that you want to fit with foam. So I'm going to do that, and take my word for it, don't have all 4 trits in there like me, just have one by one. It's a lot easier to control. Now when you're done, it should look something like this, and then we can go ahead and close it up with the other half, just like that. Put it in place, and you can check the 4 corners if you want to see whether or not there's any foam kind of peeking out, and there is none. So I'm happy with that. We're gonna install the screws back this way. And for me, I like to lightly screw them in first. Then only when they are lined up nicely, I will tighten them down. So just like that. Alignment looks to be good. Now I'm going to tighten everything down. There we go. Now we're going to shake it a little bit just to ensure that there's no rattling sound because of the foam. Wonderful. So you guys can tell now, the trits would not make a rattling sound when we are fidgeting with this. So throw the buttons back on, screw it in place. Okay, so it feels a little bit heavier now. And that's not a complaint. This is actually pretty good. See if I can balance it nicely. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, everyone. Such a solid looking reflection. That's awesome. I'm gonna try turning off these lights and see if the trits pop. It's not pitch black here. It is daytime, but you can still see the white trits glowing, which is honestly pretty awesome. Look at that. Wow, this is beautiful. You can see the trits from the side as well. Very nicely cut out slots. Wow, this is just... Oh, look at that. Okay, turning the lights back on. And I guess throughout the video, you guys already know my impressions on this. Right now, it is pretty good because of all the chamfering here. It is not like it's super rounded or anything, but the chamfering really does help add to the comfort. And the overall design is pretty awesome. It is right up my alley. So design-wise, it's something that I really dig. I've been waiting for this to be released, and finally it's out, and I'm very happy with it. It is a slightly bigger spinner than I am used to, I guess, right now, because I'm used to spinners of the stubby size or even smaller. So those of you who like larger spinners or the XL size ones, you're gonna love this a lot. This is easily 6 or 6.5 centimeters, that's 65 millimeters. let's just check it out. Since I have my ruler here, and it is from the bottom to the top, it is 62. According to my ruler and my eye, 62 millimeters, which is slightly bigger than what we're used to nowadays, because a lot of us are used to kind of like 5 centimeters or 5.5, sometimes even 4.5. But this is nice. This is very welcome, and it is a good size. Look, good size, fits in my palm, so it should fit my pocket very well as well. Alright guys, I'm gonna put this on my EDC, and I'll catch you all in the next part of the video when I report back and tell you what I really think about the Orthrus from Damned Designs. But so far, so good.
1 week later.
I saw you post this whole shit. What's all these beads?
It's from the 0608 bearings, bro.
Oh, ceramic.
Yeah, I took out the ceramic ones because I rarely use 608 anymore.
This is white trits.
Yeah, it's white trits.
White is nice. Actually, it spins quite well. Like, I never see this kind of like traditional looking spinners.
Yeah, it's quite traditional, but new at the same time because got the slots.
Yeah.
I think I want taller buttons, that's all.
I think it's alright. Feels alright for me.
1 eternity later.
This is what we call 肉骨茶, better known as bak kut teh, pork rib soup. But this one's a little bit different. What style is this? Cantonese? Teochew? Because the standard Teochew style of bak kut teh doesn't have all of this, like the tofu skin and the Malaysian style. So yeah, Suen and Mabel were right, it's Malaysian style. There's also a dry bak kut teh, and personally I don't like dry bak kut teh. I know you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I think dry bak kut teh just tastes like gong pao pork ribs, and it's not that fantastic. There's also some enoki in there and pork ribs, of course. And that white thing you see, the white fungusy thing, that is tofu skin.
Mine is 白米粉 style. I think it's not bad.
米粉面线咯。
这是米
No, so it's white bihun.
white bihun.
Ah.
Bihun. By
This is
bihun,
just
not miswa. So we're confused here because I don't know the English translation for bihun.
Bihun is
Just call it bihun or 面线 bihun. It's not vermicelli because vermicelli is takhun. Rice noodles. What's bihun? Bihun? Bihun is bihun. Sorry guys. You just have to accept the fact of life. Bihun is bihun.
Oh, rice vermicelli.
Anyway, it's lunchtime, so Orthrus with me. Last day on my EDC. I am back, everyone, after spending about 1.5 weeks with the Orthrus, and I have to apologize if I've been mispronouncing the name of the spinner in the earlier part of the video. I kept saying Orthrus, I think. So anyway, it is the Orthrus. I keep missing out on pronouncing the second letter R in the name, but I think that you guys already know that I've customized it quite a bit, or at least I've changed the customizing style. If you guys have watched my Sanctity XS video, well, the first impressions video, you guys have seen this. Shout outs to Leslie Biro. Leslie is the one that first put all these little ball bearings into the slots, and these are, I'm gonna share it with everyone because he shared it anyway. These are actually ball bearings from 608 bearings, and these are of course the ceramic ones. I thought that white would look really beautiful with this spinner. I initially used black ball bearings and I realized that it wasn't such a contrast, it didn't stand out that much, but with the white ball bearings you could really see that they are ball bearings. The other alternative is to use stainless steel ball bearings, and the next cool thing that Leslie did was that he took a Sharpie and colored these stainless steel ball bearings, and wow, he got them in green, red, blue. It's just really awesome, and it's so beautiful that even the Damned Designs Facebook group has changed its cover picture to that, and by that I mean Leslie's customized Orthrus. So that's just something that I wanted to share. I thought it was really cool. Now for me, I maintain 2 trits, and on the opposite side is 6 of these ball bearings. Now the slots are actually longer than this, and it actually can hold up to 7 ball bearings. I would say that the width is about 7 ball bearings long, but the actual usable space is only about 6 ball bearings, so you got to take note of that. These are all just friction fit. I would say it's friction fit, like a snug sit fit. You know what I mean? Like they're not rattling or anything. There's no rattle. I didn't even have to add any kind of foam, unlike the foam that you guys saw me adding into for the trits. Now at this point of time, I'm going to mention that the Orthrus is sold out. I believe that it was a single run only. I may be wrong because who knows, right? But right now the Orthrus XS is featured on the website, and I apologize because I'm not sure if it's for purchase immediately or it's for pre-order. I have to apologize, but you guys can go check it out anyway. Always links in the description box below. And I'm going to tell you guys what I really think about the Orthrus spinner by Damned Designs. And I mentioned to you guys I spent about 1.5 weeks with this, and it was so far so good. A rather pleasant experience, but it's not the best experience I've had out of a Damned Designs spinner. It features the XL gyre buttons, but it still is a little bit close to the main frame, as you guys can see, because the Orthrus frame is actually pretty big. You guys saw how long it was, but also it's really thick. I'm just gonna take a stubby back in and show you guys. Like it's chunkier than a stubby because of this raised area over here. So what happens here is that, you know, that whole fat of the thumb situation is happening all over again. You guys can see how close it is. If I were just to apply pressure a little bit, I can actually stop it with the fat of my thumb. And this is even with the XL gyre buttons. And we're talking about like really wide buttons. These are like 23mm wide. But yes, this is something that I'm facing. You see, I could just stop it like that. And one of the things that I did was to actually swap out these buttons for the tall gyre buttons, and those fit a lot better. In my opinion, it's more comfortable. But I only experienced that for a few days because for a good part of the time that I had the Orthrus on me, I had these standard XL gyre buttons on them because I wanted to have an, I guess you could say, an unadulterated experience with this spinner. So first things first, fidgetability is alright. It's alright. It's not that fantastic, and I'm gonna tell you why right now. So push forwards on this guy is completely fine. Pushing forward is great. Like there's no gripe I have about pushing forward on this guy, especially when you prepare your finger back here and get ready to launch a spinner forward. It just sits into that slot. Your finger just finds its way there, so this is really good. And I'm gonna change the grip up to a middle finger and thumb grip. And pushing forward, if you start off from the middle, pushing forward is really nice. Pulling back as well is really nice. The only thing is that you have to move your finger really fast, kind of like that. If not, you would risk knocking the back of your finger because of the sheer length, just like that, of the spinner. I feel satisfied flicking with my index finger only if my index finger lands in here. Now, if I have my index finger landing up here, the only thing I could do is just pull backs, and it isn't that satisfying because of the angle, I suppose, because of the way the spinner is made and because of the sheer length. Now if I land my finger up here, and truth be told, most of the time you're gonna have your finger land there because of the sheer length of the spinner, I'm not able to give it a nice forward flick because everything just kind of slips out under my finger. So what I mean is when I pull it back, see how it slips out, and then before I could get my finger in there like that, this motion itself will see me kind of rather kicking the spinner instead of like a nice push with contact, you know what I mean? It's kind of like just like knocking the spinner like that. So this is a little bit, you know, I can't say dissatisfying, but I would say that it is not as satisfying as fidgeting with other spinners. So this is the next thing I want to mention. And the last thing, of course, you guys know my favorite way of fidgeting with spinners is to perform preloaded flicks or pullbacks, and for this one, unfortunately, it is not as satisfying as I initially felt. Over time, I started to feel this edge right here biting into my finger. It started to become more of a hot spot and a little bit uncomfortable for me because although it is rounded and although it is chamfered, it is, I guess, a little bit more angled. This angle here is pretty steep. So I actually find my middle finger actually kind of jamming in there all the time. And while this feels comfortable, it's the actual pullback that is uncomfortable because as I pull it back and then this edge, the opposite edge, hits my middle finger, it feels like a little pinch. It's like something's pinching the side of my middle finger, and that's a little bit annoying. And when you start to pull back and you reach a point where the spinner is just about to be launched, you actually feel this whole thing kind of like just jamming in. So I guess that's the biggest dissatisfaction about this spinner that I have. You know, it is not made for ergonomics, clearly. It is made really for the looks, and honestly speaking, I really dig the way it looks. The next thing I'm going to mention is that I'm getting about 3 minutes on a two-handed table spin. And the reason why I did not take any spin time video is because I kept changing configurations up and I realized that it really depends on what kind of weights you have in there. Like if you have stainless steel balls, it's going to spin even longer because stainless steel balls definitely are heavier than trits, you know what I mean? Trits are definitely lighter than 6 of these ceramic balls in there. And of course, if you don't have anything in the slots, then you know, it's going to be even lighter. And the lighter a spinner is, means the shorter the spin time would be. But you know, the Orthrus is the kind of spinner where you want to buy and fill these slots with something, you know, something I believe everyone buys the Orthrus for, to fill up these slots because these are just so cool. And therefore, in order to be fair, I did not take a spin time video, but I will say that the average spin time that I'm getting out of the configurations that I've tried is about 3 minutes. And clearly, this spinner is not made or designed for long spin times. I mean, you could see because the taper's out here and, you know, weights don't get thrown out like that. And that's it for my thoughts on the ergonomics and the fidgetability. Now, I'm going to change the buttons up to the tall gyro buttons just so I could show you guys what I mean. And just so you guys know how much taller the tall gyro buttons are compared to the XL gyro buttons. Just look at that. There we go. In terms of the width, the tall gyro buttons are not as wide as the XL gyro buttons, but look at that height. Now, some of you might not find this aesthetically pleasing, but I'm gonna say that it is super comfortable. Like, it really raises the buttons to a point where the spinner actually feels a lot more comfortable. I don't really have that fear of my thumb or the fat of my thumb actually rubbing against the spinner frame, and I dig this a lot. It's not as bad as what I experienced before on, say, for example, the Sanctity or the Psionic spinner. You guys know those spinners. When I got the prototypes, I actually was a little bit upset with the fact that those buttons were so small, so close to the frame of the spinner itself, and also, you know, with the slot that you weren't able to fit in wider buttons. But these slots are actually really wide. You guys could see the recessed area right there, and the fact that it came with the XL gyro button, which is a really wide button. Good choice, good decision on Adrian's part. It's just me, you know, it's just me. I am one who, I guess, prefers a little bit more clearance, you know, because this thing is kind of flat. There's no tapers, no angles, no nothing. But I just wanted a more comfortable fidgeting experience, and therefore I think that using the tall gyro buttons really do the trick for me on this one. But of course, I understand that not everyone's going to have access to these taller gyro buttons. I probably am one of those very few people who actually complain about having a flat grip and then having the spinner just rubbing against the fat of your thumb. A lot of you out there, I know, actually hold your spinners in that pinch grip, or in a, I guess, maybe like that up here, because you guys know Tetris, he actually holds his spinners like that most of the time. I realize he's not really conscious about doing it, you know, he just does it, and I realize because I look at it, you know what I mean? Like, I notice these things. I know I'm weird, but let me just clarify this. The only reason why I notice these things is because I myself have to ask all these questions, you know, as a reviewer or as someone who's just really generally interested in spinners. I just kind of look at how other people fidget with their spinners, and that's how I know this Tetris does it. You know, the various ways and methods that people use to fidget with their spinners. To me, it's just interesting, you know what I mean? Yeah, because there's no real right or wrong way to handle a spinner. All in all, the design wise, I love it. I really love it. Fidgetability wise, it's not that great. It's okay, not great, so I give it about 6 out of 10. And the last thing, and I didn't mention this on purpose because I find it quite okay, is the length or the size of the spinner. A lot of people aren't too happy with the fact that this spinner is huge, and in my opinion, I like this size. And it's a welcome difference. Like I mentioned, in a sea of medium to small sized spinners right now, this is kind of like a little throwback to how large older spinners were. And I remember the fishbone being like almost 8 centimeters long. This is actually quite okay, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're all just spoiled for choice right now. Like, just look at that. When was the last time you saw a spinner that was about, you know, like twice the length of a stubby? When was the last time? You know, it's been quite a while. But of course, for those of you who prefer something smaller but you still want these 4 trit slots, then there is the Orthrus XS, of course. But for me, I think this is very beautiful. I love these design nuances. I like the fact that there's a recessed area in here. And that's about it, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking out and watching all the way through and sharing in this slice of my life. As always, links in the description box below if you're interested, and I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Orthrus is a spinner for you. I like it. I might, you know, one day go back to switching all these 4 out into trits again. I'm not so sure yet, but I'm having quite a lot of fun with this right now. And of course, I'm going to have to put this back into the box for a little bit because I got to make way for other spinners to be on my rotation. And right now, the Sanctity XS is still on my EDC rotation. But, you know, it's just something that I thought I'd mention to you guys. Till the next episode, everyone. Gaga, boost.